shot is exactly the same way as I showed you with the lob shot. We throw away our club, pick up a ball. Remember in the lob shot I was teaching you with the hand-eye coordination about releasing the ball a little later, which creates a high soft flight. This time we want to release the ball a little flatter. And flatter I mean by at the bottom of our arc, of our hand swinging through. It's just exactly the same as a chip. Your chip shot with a golf club, your right hand went down the line, your back of your left hand went down the line. Same deal. Put the ball in our palm of our right hand, hand behind our back, take a normal chip shot stance, and release it. And the ball will roll and roll like a chip. Hand-eye coordination. One thing you'll notice with those 3 chip shots, or the first two chip shots I made, they went past the hole. Be aggressive when you chip. Here's a part of the game that can be either aggressive like my little friend behind me, or you can play conservative. That's totally up to you, and that's putting. Putting is probably the most individualistic part of the game. You've got to do it yourself. You've got to feel it yourself. A lot of people say to me, Greg, why do you putt with the ball off your toe with such an open stance? Now let me tell you why. Because I like to feel continuity in my game. Get the same sort of feeling and motion in the game for yourself every time, time in, time out. So that is the reason why I like to put the ball off the toe of my putter. I put my hand down first, get my putter to the spot where I'd like the ball to go to start its break, and then I take my position still looking at that spot. Continuity, love it. So let's just talk a little bit about putting itself. Putting basically all feel. It's feel in your hands, whether you're a wrist putter like Billy Casper, or you're an arms putter like Ben Crenshaw. It's totally up to you. One of the most crucial parts of it, though, is always remember the back of the left hand or your top hand, keep it going towards the hole. Just remember that little tip, back of the left hand towards the hole. If your left hand breaks down, and if the left hand breaks down by the right hand coming past your left hand, becoming a little more dominant, you're going to get a little kink in your wrist here. The putter blade is either going to be hooked at impact or it's going to be a little bit open. So therefore, we're not going to get a nice, smooth, straight end-over-end roll. Now let's get to the grip. The grip, the hands on the putter grip have got to be very soft. You've got to feel the putter grip. Now your grip location, right, may be any way you like. I've seen putters who take their natural golf swing grip and putt with the same grip. A lot of players, though, do the overlapping grip. This grip here, where the first finger of the left hand or the top hand goes down the shaft. And the reason why they do that is they sort of make this finger become a brace. Remember I was talking to you about keeping the back of the left hand firm? Well, this is what this finger does. When you put that finger down the shaft, it sort of acts like a brace. It locks up your back of your wrist here, and then from there, your left forearm can continue going to the target. So that's why they put the finger down there. I've seen a lot of players putt like this. So they're locking up everything, so all they're doing is using a shoulder action. Fine if it works for them. I myself believe that this finger just sits there and floats. I don't really try and put any pressure in this finger at all. I just let it float there. As a matter of fact, the better I putt is the softer this finger is on the grip. Sometimes I even intentionally take it off. So that creates a nice, smooth, soft feeling through the ball for me. A grip is very, very individualistic. Experiment yourself. But, you know, just feel. I mean, you can hit 10, 15 putts one way. If it doesn't feel any good, you'll know how to pitch it out. Just forget about it. Then go and work on something else. Now we've got to talk about ball position and posture over the ball. Very important part about putting. You have to have your eyes over the line. It doesn't necessarily mean to say you've got to be directly over the ball with the ball in the center of your stance. Just imagine, let's run an imaginary line from the back of from the hole through the ball and continue going back behind here. Now what we're going to do with this line is When we get our ball position, remember the railway line trick we did for our alignment? Sort of the same type of principle, but with our stance, you don't really have to stand dead square. You can stand any way you want. Say, me, for example, I stand very open with a narrow stance. But the reason why we run this imaginary line from the hole through the ball and past on our backswing for maybe 2 or 3 feet is we want to get the idea is that when we stand here, we want our eyes over that line, but our eyes don't necessarily have to be directly over the ball. Like right here, my eyes, let me get another ball and show you. My eyes are back here. Now this is a ball I'm going to hit. I'm going to hit the first ball. But I want my eyes to be behind the ball. So the reason why I do that is I'm looking down the line. I can see much easier. When I tilt my head this way, I get a great visual effect. I can see the line. Now if I'm directly over the ball, I have to sort of look up, and I have to change my body motion. When you start moving your body just a little bit, it's hard to get it back in the identical place. So a good little point here we've got to think about is when you're looking down the line, just swivel your head. Don't move your body. Just turn your head, look at the line, turn your head back. Try and keep your body as still as you can. So that's the reason why alignment and head position is crucial. Let me show you another point. When you're standing over the putt, have another ball in your hand like this. Take your normal address position, right? And without hitting it, just stay there. Put the ball up between your eyes and just drop it. And where it lands is exactly perpendicular to where your eyes are going to be aligned. So my eyes actually hit the second ball, but my eyes were directly down the line. Good little tip, you can practice this at home on the carpet just by running a piece of string down there. Don't go getting a big piece of crayon and running it down mum or dad's carpet. That's going to be bad. So just put your imaginary line down there and just practice getting your eyes in location. Another little tip you can practice with your stroke. Maybe sometimes you have a bad problem of looping your stroke. A loop is where you take the putter on the outside of the line and either bring it back the same way and you cause a cut stroke, or you take it inside the line and come back over the top, and that's how you trap the putt. You hit the ball left straight away and it's got a right to left spin and you'll never make a putt. So the way to practice is in the hotel room, at home on the carpet, put your putter up against the wall and just take your putter back along the wall. And now you'll feel whether you're going outside the line or whether you're coming inside the line. Sooner or later, your putter is going to have to leave the wall because there's a natural arc in your swing. It's just the same as your golf swing. You're going to go back to a point, the putter's going to come away from the wall. But that point's going to be, depending on the length of your putt, of course, is going to be about 6 or 7 inches. So just practice that. Again, it's a simple little technique to feel for yourself and understand for yourself. Another important thing about putting is alignment. Of course, if you don't read the putt the right way, you're not going to make it. If you don't hit it at the right speed, over the right mark on the green, again, you're not going to make it. So let's talk a little bit about alignment. When you get down behind the ball, or you see on television, the professional golfer looks from both sides, maybe even from 4 sides. What we're actually doing is taking in the terrain of the ground. Like when we get down behind the ball here, for example, I'm going to line myself up directly behind the ball, and I'm looking for a spot. Okay, you're going to say, now why a spot? I'm a spot putter. I look for a mark on the green where it's going to be at the apex of the break. In other words, it's the highest point of the break. So I'm going to aim at that point. Now, if I aim there and hit it at the right speed, I know the ball's going to get there and then start looking for the hole. And that's what we want. Another simple little tip, I suppose, or thought that you can think about when you're lining up a putt. I guess the hardest putt to make is a dead straight putt because you're aiming at the center of the hole. So in other words, you're only using half the hole. If you pull it, you've only got half the hole. If you push it, you've only got half the hole again. When you've got a breaking putt and you're aiming for a point somewhere, you're going to use the whole hole because when the ball starts breaking towards the hole, you've got the full cup to go into. Alignment, pick a spot. Visualize that spot. So when you're walking up there, okay, I've picked out my spot there now about 3 feet short of the hole, And all I do is I stare at that spot. That is my focal point for the swing. So I'm going to look just about here. There's a little light green patch here. I know if I hit the ball over that spot, the ball is, with the right speed, the ball's going to start taking its break there. So all I'm going to do now is I'm going to stare at the spot, make sure my putter head is right there, and I execute. One thing people don't think about when they putt is breathing. Very important part. If you take a breath in as you're taking the putter back, your body's going to move up. If you're breathing out as you're coming down, again, you're going to get body movement. Control your breathing. Just before you take the putter back, take a nice, easy breath. Don't take a deep breath and fill yourself up with tension. Just take a nice, normal breath. Hold your breath, execute your putt, come on through, then you can breathe after you hold your putt. So far, we've been talking about putts that may be inside 10 feet, 12 feet, or whatever. You know, the crucial putts. The other side of the putting is the long putts. I mean, how many times we're not always going to knock it inside 15 feet on every shot into every green. We're going to have some 100-footers, maybe 150 feet sometimes, maybe 60-footers. They're the putts that I see very few people actually practice. Now, if you practice those putts a lot, you're going to develop feel in your putting. And, you know, if you can roll a 60-footer or a 100-footer within a 3-foot radius of the hole, that is great feel. Considering you got break, you got different grain to putt over 60 or 70 feet of ground, the grain is going to be different. So what you're doing is you practice your feel. Don't try and make these putts, because if you do make one, you're going to say, yeah, okay, I tried to make it, but in actual fact, it was a fluke, right? You know, that, I even admit that. Lots of times I'm trying to get the ball close to the hole so I don't three-putt. Three-putt is the worst thing you can do in the game, because you can hit a good shot, and you're going to lose the idea why you hit a good shot, because I made a silly mistake of three-putting. Long putts, don't be so aggressive. The 10 and 15 footers, the ones you know you can make, be aggressive. The longer ones, try and get them within a circle. Either the longer the putt, obviously give yourself a little bit more leeway with your circle. Feel the ball to the hole. Don't try to make them. Now, the other important thing about the long putt is, same as the 10 footers, 12 footers, remember the back of the left hand to the hole. More important, because if your left hand quits when you're hitting the ball even harder, you're taking a larger backswing. So if you're coming here and your left hand quits and it breaks like this, like I was talking about, man, a 1 degree deviation on your putter face is going to be maybe 5 or 6 feet over 60 feet at the end. And now that's a lot. So you've got to be a little more conscious of the back of your left hand. Keep the back of your left hand a little firmer and the more down the line. And the longer you can keep it down the line, the straighter the putt's going to roll. So remember, take a little longer swing. Don't go choking the grip. You still got to have that same soft feeling on the putter grip to maintain the whole feel for your stroke. Keep that back of the left hand towards the hole and take a nice full swing and keep the ball going down the line, especially the putter head. So just practice feel. That's all you have to do. So that's basically the simple part about putting. Do it yourself, feel it out yourself, and just trust yourself. Be aggressive. Don't go and lag putts, you know. You don't leave them short. 95% of the putts you leave short don't go in. You know, there's a great old rule of golf. So you got to get it past the hole. If you don't get it to the hole, forget about it. You're just going to have an average type of day. You're going to get irritated. Oh, I left that putt short again. And it sort of eats into your whole system. If you make the first putt on the first hole in aggressive fashion, the whole game for the rest of the day is going to be aggressive. So remember, putt with a lot of confidence, a lot of aggression. I don't know whether my little friend's still behind me though, but I think he's still checking me out here, getting a free lesson. But just like him, take it easy, smooth, but when you want to make it, like he's trying to catch a fish or eat a fish, he's aggressive, he's going to go after it. Same principle. All right, you're going to enjoy your putting from now on.